Carol here, and welcome once again to my craft room. We're going to have so much fun with this release from LDRS Creative. It's crazy. The open stitched heart, the stitched heart before that, the cover plate is amazing. The 22 different sentiments with the die to cut them out, all different banner sizes. I am having a ball. I have made so many of them. Yeah, and then there's this beautiful heart wreath that you could use for any occasion. The panda bears and the friend set and the embossing folder. Or I'm sorry, the stencil. That's a mind block. And here I'm just showing you all of the backs are colored. And they show you what you can do with them, like so that you have a little bit of inspiration when you receive this set. Well, as usual, I filmed another girl in the navies with blonde hair and forgot to turn my camera on. Yes, those things happen and there's nothing you can do about it. Couldn't believe it. So I thought, you know what? I can't let that go when you're, for those of you that love to watch me color, I grabbed another image because it's nothing but practice for me. And I will do the red family and black hair. Red and black always look nice together. And I'm using my polychromo pencils. I did not use Gamsol because generally I use Gamsol when I do use my Prisma pencils because they're wax based, and waxed based you can move around and soften it up and get an entire different look. But the polychromos are soft and gorgeous on paper. This is my 140-pound white cardstock, and I think you can see the colors that I'm using more towards the yellow-orange family. I wanted to get this tutorial up, and I didn't keep track of all of the pencil lead colors, but I am going, like I said, yellows, oranges, and then I'll move towards the orange brown, and then I'll deepen it with a couple of brown tones. Here's a nice bright pink for the cheeks, and yeah, you have to watch for those little ears and the neck when you do small images. At least I do. Yeah. So I'll put my bright spot in the center as usual. You can see the middle of the face, and the hands will be kind of in the bottom, but in centrally located. And the legs you really don't have to worry about. Just get the dark tones underneath the dress and you will be on a good track of coloring. And this set has been amazing for me. I'll chat while we're coloring. Let me just say, I'm taking a really pale peach to move my colors. That's what I'll use to move them and brighten them up. There's my blue one that I did. I'm just popping it in there real fast. But I do leave, right at the end of this coloring, I'll show you both of them. I kept them in the edit for you, so you wouldn't miss out on. I am going to use both of them on projects, and I'm going to use the blue one on this project. I did 5 cards, 5x5 cards with a 1/4-inch gusset, and we're going to do 3 sides of each card, and I did matching envelopes for you. Then at the end I'll make a box and I'll give it away as a box set of 4 cards when I reach my 20,000 subscriber. Oh my, I have so many things to give away. I think I have to back off here. It's like you can only give away so many things, and but I have been anticipating that, and if I don't reach it, that's fine too. I can't believe that I have as many subscribers as I have. So thank you to everyone that has subscribed to my channel. And so here we go. I always set it, when I do black hair, I set a base of light blue, and then I come in with the violet, some type of purple, and then I'll go in with navy to make the lines, just to make them a little bit more vivid. Very seldom, I'm just moving it around so I'm comfortable coloring it. on the angle that feels comfortable to get the movement of those lines. And then I just go into all the tight spots. That's what you can remember when you color. I call them tight spots, the little bitty pieces parts. I color them dark because you're not going to be able to get lines in there, you know, where the ponytail is meeting, that sort of thing. There's not very many of them to worry about, but there are a few. And I always say, and this is a navy pencil, I try not to use black when I'm doing any images to get, for it to stand out. Sometimes I have to. I find that if I want to put some vivid lines in the image where the designer didn't put very many lines, I'll add it with black. I don't have a problem with using a Copic-friendly marker to do that because you can always move it. Now to get my highlights, I'll take a mild yellow and go in there, but I'll also top it with a pink to, you know, to get those sunspots that I want. I have my dollar store blush brush to move the pencil lead when it breaks, because it does, you know, the odd time. Polychromos are a pretty stern pencil, and if somebody didn't drop them in the process of, you know, the delivery from the time that they packaged them, if you drop them, the pencil lead inside the wood gets broke. And you'll know that when you go to get to a certain mark, and if the lead is broke, it will fall out, you know, when you're sharpening it. And that's how, but I am sure you'd be able to get a color, they would replace it. You know, if it is, you know, every time you go to sharpen it and it breaks off, that's not a good thing. And you're paying very good price when you're buying polychromos. They're not inexpensive, but they're worth the money if you save up in time. And that's what I did. I just waited and saved up for them, waited for a really good sale. Here's where I use the Copic friendly. And I say Copic friendly, I'm used to saying that, but it just, I find that over top of polychromos, I can move this pen, believe it or not. I can almost take it out if I want to. And I'm going to show you that with your white Signo gel pen. You don't have to keep it. All you have to do is color over it and it will disappear. And we'll do that for you so I can show you that. Because not all times do you get that Signo pen, you know, the pattern that you want. And you're thinking, oh, I wish I didn't do that. Well, point your pen, like you can see I make a really pointed pen, or excuse me, pencil lead at the end when I'm coloring, and I try to keep my hand light. I have a real tough time doing that, but I try to. I'm going back with the light blue shades to get in between the black marks, and with me, and then I'm going to take gray, even though this little girl's not going to have gray hair yet. Yeah, she can look forward to it, so I will put some in there. How is that? But I just wanted to downplay a few of those colors. I'm taking a mellow brown here, a very light, kind of like a gray clay color, and I'm moving the face, you know, dark to light. I'm just so that you don't see any lines. I try to keep my coloring when it's with pencils going in a round motion, just, you know, unless the area is small, and then you can go back and forth. But if I'm coloring the face here, I try, here I'm trying to lift out color, so it doesn't matter if I go in circles. But I try to keep that pattern of going in small circles. Now I'm back to my dark navy color. Actually, this could be where I'm putting lines in with the black. I can't tell because navy in the polychromo. There's my blue image. I'm doing the eyes now with the marker, the little nose, and I'm going to leave the mouth alone. Put a little bit of touch of eyelashes in there going in the side motion, like out the side, and then one eye going up. And that gives you a really real look, you know, because both eyelashes when I put my mascara on, I never know where my eyelashes are going to go. They're either going to be clumped or, you know, face in one direction. You never know. But the eye closest, you know, that hardly has any room, I will put the lashes going straight up. And then the other eye that has more skin around it, I will put it out to the side, facing the hair. It's just something I've always done. I don't think there's anything that is, you know, is necessary to do, but I've always done that for some strange reason, and it works for me. So here's a really light hand. I'm leaving some soft spots. I want this dress to have some movement. So in order to get movement, you'll put some dark lines and some light lines, and that is it, my friends. There is no science, you know, real science to coloring. I know that here's those points that I make when I want it to have some pleats. I thought I'd darken it up with some pleats, and it's just make a V. Find some spots to make some V's and you'll get movement. Now, when people color, you know, professionals, of course, it's worth, if they're a good colorist, it's worth paying to get all of the whys and the why nots when you color, how to use the color wheel and things of that nature. But if you're watching my coloring, what I do, what looks good stays on the paper. What doesn't look good, of course, I color over it. And I don't care if I have to color it 20 times till I get the look I want. Here I'm going in with this beautiful purple blue. I love it. And I am going in with a deep red in the center of the points. And yeah, so I can't really, when I'm doing this and I'm looking at it like you're looking at it, sometimes there's no rhyme nor reason, because I am, you know, as my eye keeps staring at it, I may want to change it. And I stop. Now here's the dots. I did tiny dots. I wanted to look like a little vest. Then I went to fat dots and I decided to do some stripes, just stripe up. And I didn't like that. And I'll tell you why. I like the coloring underneath. So I took a pointed pencil and I took it off, because Signo pens, they stay on top of polychromo and Prisma because it's wax, and it's just the makeup of the crayon that allows you to get it off there if you don't want it with a pointed pencil. So don't panic if you don't like the design. See how it's coming right up? Keep your nice puffy blush brush handy to get rid of it, and then put in the, you know, the shapes and designs that you prefer. If you don't want anything, leave it alone. You know, coloring looks good without having to add anything, but little dots do look good, and it's kind of like strawberry dots, you know. I added some undertone of white to the black, and then I'll leave it like this. There's my brown head. She's as cute as a button. I always use enamel accents to do their patent leather shoes, and I think it's just perfect. Now, if I had to change things up with the girl in the red, I'd have switched color tones on the skin. I would have put the lighter tones on the black, more of a white skin, because that does look good. I have a granddaughter with beautiful, really beautiful white, snow white skin with that beautiful black hair, and it looks gorgeous. That's the only thing I would change, but I think this looks good as well. You know, same design basically in the dress movement, and then we're going to go around and we're going to create 5 by 5 inch cards. So let's get out our cutter. I'm sorry that my light is right in view there. I get so caught up in sometimes, excuse me, you're going to get your tail cut up. Oh, yeah, he made it once again. So I cut a 5 by 5 strip. I cut 5 inches off the main cardstock, so that all I had to do was cut 5 inches and then use the extra portion. I had a 1/2 inch with a large gusset. I decided to make an 1/8 of an inch gusset on there because I didn't know if I was going to put, you know, chunky ribbons or what I really wanted to do a chunky card. And believe it or not, I knew I was going to do 3 or 4 sides on this card. I wanted to get as much inspiration for you out of one card that if you only do the fronts of cards, you'll have 3 basic ideas here. Okay, here we go. I'm going to make, on these, this is funny, on these I forgot to make the gusset. I just did 1 line and I'm looking at it going, something does not look right here. You know, so I went back, I had everything prepared. You can see 5 by 5 right there. Then I have this extra piece, which I'll do 1 inch, score it, and then I'll go back because I forgot to score it again so that I had that gusset in there. And a gusset only means that you make a mark beside the indent you made the first time so you have room to put things. And here I'm looking, and I started to fold them and put the double-sided tape on there, and I still didn't catch on that I needed to make that gusset. That's why I made the space, you know, that folds over so thick, because I generally, if I'm going to make a larger gusset, I'm going to need that room. And I really do think when you make a chunky card, like a 5 by 5, 4 by 4, 6 by 6, it looks nice to have that fold thick instead of a thin bend in it. That the look looks nice to have a nice chunky area there. So here I get out my double-sided tape. I cut the end off so it's nice and clean. And here's where I stopped. I know I did. Took it off, took it all off, and went back and put a gusset, another line to make a gusset. So I had 2 lines. So I just followed it 1 over and did them all. Then I'll put the tape on all of it, and we're going to get started and create our design with this wonderful LDRS creative release. And you must admit, I have done so many projects with this release. It is a fun release. The prices are excellent. They just make your craft stash smile to have these in your stash. They're wonderful. And you know, I only create with products that I love and I know that I can work with. And these are fun, simplistic cards. If you did this, you could, you know, pump this out, I'd say, in an hour, because when I used the stencil, I used paste. And so I had to wait until that was dry to use it, right? So you only have your drawing time. Then get yourself a little plastic something, you know, that has a nice sharp edge to it to cut off your ends nice and clean, and then run it across to seat it so that it is right on the paper tight and it's not going to fall off. That is the dread of my card making, is that my card would fall apart. So just take the time to add as much glue as possible to make sure that that doesn't happen when the recipient gets your cards. And if it does, hopefully they have a little bit of glue to fix it, right? No worries, no worries. Then I'm going to go crazy with the sentiments. I wanted navy sentiments in silver, white, and gold. And I wanted deep red, almost to a burgundy red. I wanted those sentiments to have silver, gold, and white. And this time I remembered to use my baby powder. Oh yes, you don't want to have stragglies, strays when you're using your LDRS Creative watermark. You want to make sure that it, you know. Oh, and I ended up putting more paper in this so that if you find when you're using your whatever you use as far as a, you know, whatever you call this thing, this thingy-dingy that I'm using, positioner, yes, your card. See how I added more paper right there? That's the thing to do, so you don't have to keep pushing down on it. Because what happens is you will get the center Of course you will, by pushing it down. But what's going to happen, you're going to smush the LDRS Creative ink, the clear ink. On the other images, you can't help it because you're pushing so hard. So in the middle, you'll have clear, bright lettering, but on the outside, it's going to smush, and you don't want that. So find, take a scrap piece of paper and then find where, put something in the middle, and then put cardstock, a good amount of it in there, and your foam. You could add another piece of foam as well, and see where the happy, the happy mark is that works for you, that you don't have to keep push, push, push. And see, I found it. I didn't, first time, boom, just like that. So happy. And you can see the little square marks to line up your die, the die that goes with this. And isn't it fantastic to have 11 sentiments of all kinds? Sympathy, birthday, I love you, kiss, hug, all kinds of wonderful sentiments. I'm just showing you. I love you. I would find you in any lifetime. You always make me feel loved. So many beautiful. This is the love set. There's 2 different sets, sentiment sets. All you do is just get those squares lined up, move it up if you have to. See on the XO, I had to move it up a tad, and then put some tape that doesn't stick. I have to turn this die over because I'm using a Gemini. So the die cut has to be facing up, so I don't get to see it. So that's why I have to make sure I tape it well when I put it down. And look at that. LDRS Creative White Embossing Powder is the ultimate. Bright and detailed. It's great. And I'm going to leave a link, as I always do, on my blog. If you have any questions, just leave them on my blog, and I'll try to get over there and see and check my comments out. Because I answer all my comments on YouTube, sometimes I don't get over to my blog. Look at the gold. I'm just taking some of the powder off. But I would prefer that you take the powder off with a paper towel, a soft towel, like a fuzzy cloth, because the oils on your skin will work their way. And why I'm doing this and just laying my hand on there, I have no idea. It's like I don't know why I have this in the edit. I must have had to answer something, or, an email came in or something, so I just put my hand there and did whatever I had to do. Isn't that crazy? I really don't know why. Yes, you can see I was answering an email. Somebody had emailed me. All right, so here we go after I did that. And, yeah, you have to keep it real, folks. This is what we all do, and I do know how to get it out of the edit. I don't know why I didn't do that, but going back is not going to save me time. So let's get a little bit of, you want to get those flecks, those little gold flecks, keep them out of there. So don't forget your powder, your detail powder. Now another thing, when you're switching colors, remember to wipe it out, because when you use a die, as you can see right here, you will push that cardstock die right down into your plate. And then when you go to the next color, that color is going to seat inside the next die cut. So that's what I try to do. Now here's my Post-it 8.5 by 11 sheet. And I put one of the beautiful dotted hearts. I cut out of the center here. And I thought I would just put it down and make some gold, use the stencil with gold paste. I have other gold paste I wanted to use. More of a, I don't know, like a bright gold. So I'm seating it here. I'm going to put the stencil. I did not tape it down at all, because this Dreamweaver's stenciling paste is so soft. It doesn't take long to get it in there. But I am going to tell you something that I've learned over time. Oh, I made some tuna salad. I had to get some nourishment. So I said, I forgot. I didn't even know I put this in the edit. It shocked me too. Yes, some nice eggs and tuna and green peppers and carrot, and apples. Don't forget apples when you make cold tuna salad. You have to cut up apples in it. It gives the tuna that sweet and sour taste. I love it. So after I enjoy a little bit, I'm putting on this paste. Now, if your paste is soft, don't use a stencil, a metal small stencil tool. You know, this doohickey thing that I'm using, the knife, the blending knife. Keep your blending knife bendable, so plastic is good, and that it has like this. Look at this. I had a metal, I'm not sure who makes this. Dreamweaver might make that. I'll try to find it and put it on my link, because it's like whoop, and it's done. Because if you use a small area, you're making lines in it because it doesn't have the room to put the actual paste, right? You're having to move that paste and move that paste, so you're getting lines in it, and I don't like that. So that's why I switched over to that big metal, I don't want to say, look at how smooth this is. Okay, I'll get out of it by saying this. It's the moving tool, that metal moving tool. So anyway, look how gorgeous. Now you can see I switched to the long plastic spatula, and that's what I'm going to call it, my spatula knife. And look how easy it is to get all of the stencil holes in there and have it, look at it. I mean, I kept that in real time. It just goes on so smooth. And Dreamweaver stenciling paste is the smoothest paste you can get out there that I have used thus far. I find it so nice. Then when I went to put my products back, I found this sparkly paste. But it was almost to the totally dried out stage, you know, where I'd have to figure out how I was going to soften it up. But I knew if I kept moving it, if I made heat on it by going back and forth with the metal, because metal will heat up when you're using it, right? Where the plastic won't. So I just thought, if I move this paste and I make some friction and add some heat to it, yes, it did soften up. Ew, that was wonderful. And you can see I'm able to move it so easy. And then I took this metal plate, and this metal plate thingy is for stencils. So you get oh, this was beautiful. I made a card with this. You're going to love this card. Look at the thickness. That's what I'm trying to show you here. How much depth I have in this paste that was almost on the verge of, you know, hard rock, ready to go to the gravel pit type thing. You know how I like to have things ready so that I can just make my cards, and I wanted to use up this white cotton crinkle ribbon. So there's a little I Love You die in this set, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice to just put this alongside with, of course, you need Stays On ink, and I'll put the I Love You in the matching color of this burgundy red paper. And this paper I got at Michael's. It's a pack of 4 different reds together if you're looking for it. And I just went across with I Love You on my crinkle ribbon. And I put a line of tape runner to hold it down. And my Fiskars stamp press came into action here wonderfully. And then I grabbed some more white, and I'm using gold Stays On. And I'm going to put the I Love You in gold. So that way, if I use one of the cut sentiments, and did I say that those sentiment lengths that you have, they are all different sizes, right? So that is a bonus when you're die cutting those beautiful sentiments. You have 22 if you bought both sets. There are 11 sentiments to one set. And they're all flagged and ready to go in different sizes. So here you have the silver, you have that luscious sparkly, here's the heart that I'll cut out, and there's the gold on navy. Isn't it beautiful? And it didn't take long to dry at all. While I was getting everything else organized on the island I work on, it was easy peasy. I went into my stash to get some ideas, and I did end up using this, but it was on that next card. Remember, I made 4 cards using 3 sides of each card. That's 12 different cards, and I did matching envelopes for each of them. And because of time, I kept this one at only 45 minutes. Can you believe it? And yes, I can do videos that are 15 minutes long. But if I show the coloring and I show the process of things and I talk through why and how I'm doing it, it's impossible for me to do that in a short amount of time. It's not, I shouldn't say it's not impossible, because I have done short tutorials. If I have to do a short tutorial, I can do it. So here's my LDRS creative swatches. I'm going through to see the colors I want to use, and I wanted to see if I had that navy, and there it is. I passed it. Let's see. Yeah, that's those. I keep all my swatches in these 1x1 plastic things of all the inks that I have. So and then I just brush letter all of them, and the reason for that is practice. I get to practice my brush letter. Now the next thing that I wanted to do in preparation for making 4 cards with 3 sides, so that's 12 designs for you, using this beautiful release. This is just ribbon that I got at Michael's. It's gorgeous ribbon, and you just take a pinchy clip and clip it shut, and it all works out. Now here are the hearts that I die cut at the beginning. Remember when I started, when I just received my design team package, I get out everything and I make a ton of everything. I use it all, I color it all, unless I need, extras and I didn't color enough, I'll add to it. But I had die cut all these hearts, and this one is out of the stitched heart. See how perfect? This is the perfect heart. Then I got out the dark wash jean blue, and I wanted to do kind of an ombre on the back, and that's only because I wanted to practice, because basically you're not going to see the back, but I do want to practice using these brushes, and and how to get a nice ombre look. And I love, you cannot, hybrid inks are the ultimate juicy inks. LDRS has got the patent down on this hybrid ink, let me tell you. It is juicy, yet it doesn't run all over, it stays clean. It is vibrant, a double vibrant. Look at them up there. You would think you had the paper to this. Now here's the blue, and I'm going back and I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to design this? So I die cut some vellum pieces. I wanted to use some vellum, and I wanted to use it in the 29 pound, not the 40 pound. And I left this in because the red that I used, the Kiss Me Red, is a beautiful red. It's kind of like that lipstick red, that heart red, but my cardstock is more to the Loganberry color. It has more purple tones in it, so this does not match at all. So I went back with some purple, with some plum color actually, and I tried to deepen it with that, but I could not get the exact, sorry about that, I'm getting an email. I couldn't get the exact color, so I put these aside for my next card project. You can always use hearts, and it didn't bother me at all. So all there's left now is to actually get the design put together. I think you're going to love these 5x5 cards. They truly are amazing. And I'm deepening this up with some plum on the navy. It always looks good at the top, like doing the top and working your way down. If you're doing a navy ink, a hybrid ink, add a little bit of plum to it to deepen the look of the navy. I think you'll really like it, and you will love LDRS Creative Hybrid Inks. You can't go wrong. They're beautiful. And there's the center of this die. I took it out. The white is too stark white, so I won't be using that. But I will be using that. And here's where I decided, you know what? Vellum will look beautiful on here. And aren't these the cutest images ever? And my sweet spot in the hair, I decided to put just a little white, you know, with a light brown on top that you can hardly see. So that worked out well. And now I'm going to cut these down. I just keep cutting until I enjoy the pattern on it, like till I get the pattern right on every side, all 4 sides. So hopefully I didn't keep it in and bore you, but it did dry fast. I love this stencil with the hearts, with the heart flowers. It's beautiful. And then we're going to use these plump stitched heart dies, which stitch double. They have a double stitch, so you get the stitching when the heart comes out, and you get it on the original die cut material you're using. And in my case here, it's the vellum. So you can use that. And you know how I used the guts on my other sheet to make that gorgeous card that had the gold stitching, you know, with the gold thread. That's what I did because the stitches were already there and it was perfect. So I had 3 of these. I've got this cut down to size 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 because I'm going to seat some gold paper underneath it. And you can see just by on the island how many heart designs you have. And I love the hole to make, hanging hearts with beautiful thread and let them hang inside your, in my case, I did it inside one of the cards, but you could use it on the outside. Oh, it's just beautiful. I just love that. I mean, you can use a heart that's in this collection and just put a hole in it, of course. But when you die cut it and it's already there, it's fantastic. And I decided to put gold behind it. So I did cut it down a little bit more. I thought the gold, you know, that paper, which is also from Michael's that I got, the really shiny, thin gold paper, 8.5 by 11. So we're in the designing phase. You had to see these gold, using the stencil. I wanted to see the paste. So of course 29 pound worked out well. And in my stash, I had this navy ribbon with gold threading. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more to match up with this design. You couldn't. So I took my Xyron double-sided tape runner and I just put a little line on there to hold my ribbon, and then I put double-sided tape over top of it when I'm done to secure it. So we're going to do 2 lines, and I'm going to use 2 of my satin bows. I have my satin bows that I got from my friend Debbie. Hey Debbie, she made 50 bows per package, and she sent me so many bows I can't even tell you. And she tied these by hand. She didn't use a bow maker. She tied these by hand, and I couldn't believe when I received all of these colors. There's every color and more. So thank you very much, Debbie. You're such a kind, generous friend. And see, I'm using them. So using my little glue dots here to go behind the actual ribbon so it doesn't move. And then I'll put them behind the bow. And then I'll add my glue, my liquid glue. And that is the Art Glitter glue because it holds so well. And I just put them on a slant. I put the heart on the same slant. I put I love you on there out of the sentiments with white. I think it really does add something to it. And then I'm going to lift it up with a roll of tape, you know, the roll, the gigantuous roll. And it just lifts it up just enough for me. And I really like it. So I have that down with the glue dots. And look at that. that looks beautiful just in itself. And I'm pretty sure, well, I don't have to use the double-sided tape here because I am covering everything with the Scotch roll and raising it up. I just love this look. And I love vellum, you know, when you use vellum and you can actually, it disguises your design to have that, I don't know, it's just such a beautiful look underneath vellum, isn't it? So I'm cutting this off. We're going to take it all off and seat it down. Then we're going to design it and carry on to finish the other two sides, which are, oh, and I always put liquid glue. Yes, this is my, you know, I can sleep at night knowing it's not going to fall apart. And then take a nice cloth so your hands, the oils off your hands don't get on it. I cut down a strip of gold out of my gold stash paper. I put it down the left side just to give it a little sparkle. And here's another thing. The reason I did this one is well, when I put it down, I couldn't move it, and there was too much white cardstock on the left than there was on the right. You can see on the right there isn't any showing. So I did that thing that, you know, the cover up. And I did it with the sparkle glitter paper so that both sides looked even. And it wasn't showing any of the white cardstock. So here we go. The dotted heart die cut, the large one. No, this is the medium one, excuse me. We're going to put that down. Now you can use art glitter glue on this and it dries clear. So you don't have to worry about, you know, it is going to dry clear. And it sticks to the cardstock and it sticks to this paste beautifully. And here's another heart in that collection. Beautiful, beautiful hearts you get to use. And we colored that one. And here's our little girl image that I colored. And I'm putting some double-sided LDRS tape on the back. I just cut, you know, the strips are really thin, but I just cut a good portion of it on there so that I didn't have to keep putting, you know, strips on there. And I put her down, facing the direction the bows were going. Then I made that I love you stand up. So I curled it just a tad in the center and straightened it up on the actual cuts. And see how that gusset is nice and thick? It's just a pretty design in itself, don't you think? Oh yeah. This is so funny. I cut the edit off right here and I thought, hey, I have more to do than that. Yeah, I said I did 3 sides, right? So here we go. This is going to be one section. I think it's the inside. I do a gold sheet and then I do that beautiful navy paper over top of the gold so that there's just a little bit peeking through. And generally I would use a die to take the guts out if I was saving the gold piece of paper. You know, if you're down to just a few pieces of the paper you like, you can just die cut the center and keep the guts and just use the outside edge. But because I have a plentiful amount of this paper, I am going to leave it. And sometimes you can't take the guts out. You can't because, you know, it would show if you had the gold on the top. It's not a thick paper, but in this instance I was okay. Does that make sense? Just trying to save you some paper. Now I have to find my scissors. Oh yes, there they are. I thought it would be so pretty and feminine to add this touch of doily. Remember I had that doily for the last project and I had to use it so bad? Well, I went to find that heart doily. I couldn't find it anywhere. You know, it ran away with all the other things that show up MIA in my craft room. Oh, look at that. And then always check. Do this spit and squish routine where you just dampen your hands and then swish it over a little bit and then you find you have 2 or 3 layers of doilies. For some reason they stick together really well. It looks like there's just one and you end up with, you know, 13 sheets underneath there. So here we go. I'm down to 1. I'm going to take a sip of my Coca-Cola, of course. And here we go. This Xyron runner tape works really well on the back of the doily. Nothing gets ripped or picked up. It is really nice. It's one of the dotted runners. I like the dotted runners where they're not solid, you know. So I put that on as best I could. The right-hand side looks good, but I will cover with a gold strip on the bottom because I couldn't get that quite straight. And you know, as a person that's given to detail, I do like these little things. So I will grab some gold foil. And I decided to get out well, I used this gold right there. But I had, you know, the ones that you put in your cupboards, like your drawers, and you slide it in and out. And on the back, it has all those lines for measurement. Well, I bought a gold and a silver roll of that. And wow, it's beautiful. It's just a soft glitter. It's so pretty. And I forgot it in my stash. And I looked over to the right-hand side here, and I have a kind of like a basket full of different kinds of rolls of beautifulness, and that glitter was there. So I think later on I do use that glitter in these, somewhere in these 4 cards that I make. And be reminded, I do 3 sides on each card design for you and an envelope. So here we go. I'm going to use this heart that has the heart in a heart. It's so pretty, isn't it? And it's just stunning on the card itself. And I always say that you could use any side of these designs, whether it be the front, the inside, or the back, or if it's the flip side, as the front of your card. I like to design them all as if they were the actual front of a card. And I think it's really pretty. I think it's pretty to be able to reverse it if you're displaying it to have around. Here's some pearls that I got at the dollar store where nothing's a dollar when I was doing the wedding album. And I took some out and I put them right around that fold that didn't have anything on it on the doily. I'm going to put it around this heart as well. And I think it is so pretty. You'll still get to see some of the white behind there, but doilies and pearls to me really do go together, don't they? It's just so pretty and feminine. So I have that little strip of gold along the bottom. I'm going to put some pearls along the bottom as well, just to bring the glitter up. And yeah, you know what it was? When I cut this piece of gold, the left-hand side was just a little thicker than the right-hand side. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to place these pearls and straighten it out. Everything can be fixed. Don't ever rip anything off your projects. Everything is fixable. See how you can see it's a bit thicker on the left side than it is on the right? So I just added glue and I'll raise it up towards the left and put it down even on the right, and you'd never know. You'd never know there was a little boo-boo there. And here's where I'm just going to make sure that it does look even after you do that work. And I'm not sure if I put anything on the right-hand side. I may have, but I don't think so. I think oh, I did. Sorry. Yes, did I? Did I not? Did I not? I don't know. I guess I didn't. Now these floating hearts. I love these. I call them floating hearts because they have a hole in them. So I decided to take my tiny little punch that makes a small hole. I tried to do it here. Oh, this is my Boing Boing stretchy gold. You can see that I have all kinds of little goodness from thrift stores. And this stretchy gold strand is wonderful. So I thought I would do it through the one hole, but it just didn't seat properly for me. So I ended up making a side-by-side hole. I think it's a 1/8 inch hole. And ran the Boing Boing thread through it so that I could hang a kiss, hug sentiment, banner sentiment there. You can see it going across the white, which really brings out the doily here. So I'm going to run that through, tie it in a knot, and then I'm going to force the knot through one of those holes at the top, and I'm going to use double-sided tape to hold that down, and then I'm going to raise it up with the Scotch roll tape, you know, to raise it up just a tad. There's my double-sided tape to hold it down until I'm ready to put the other on there. Oh, I really went to town. Covered it all up. And isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. I didn't even want to cover it up with blue on the back. I liked it just stark white. I think it's a beautiful die cut out of this collection. And now I'll just rip off some of this, make it work for me. I don't want to cover up the holes so that you see tape through the front of the holes. So I just left it and put a little skinny piece on the top. Made sure the holes were free. And now we are going to seat that. And it does look really pretty for the inside of the card when you flip it open. You have the same elements basically as the front, and it sure does just add something when you open the card up. You can write on the doily part there. You can write on the top. I left the top all white. So it looks all white, right? Yeah. I'm happy with it. I love the pearls. And then I decided to punch out that same gold, a couple of hearts. And I'm going to put them in those pieces that you see that don't have any. Oh, I switched my light off again. So here we go. One glitter heart there. If I can ever get it off my nail. There you go. And then I'm going to put one on the other piece because it just looks naked, doesn't it? Everything else has something on it. So I just wanted to add something there. And I think you'll agree with me that that is pretty. The gold, the pearls, the doily, the dies, the kiss hug, the hanging heart with the gold boing boing thread. I'm super happy. So I'll keep the back pretty plain. I'm going to use the dotted heart. I'm going to use my stamp that I got at Beatty's that says created especially for you by Carol Held. I always stamp it and put clear embossing powder over top. It prevents smearing, you know, with your hand. And it's not dry, and then you have to take the whole thing off. So just a quick, you know, it's one of those, you know, where you bounce it down and up, and then you have your sentiment there. It's a special order stamp. That's what it is. And yeah, I ordered it. I think it was only $7 or $12, something like that. And you have your own personalized stamp, which is nice. So because I pressed it just a tad, not straight, I put it on an angle. That way I put the heart so that my sentiment was straight. I didn't care if the heart was straight. So I decided to offset the arrow when I put it on. You'll see that. I tilted the heart to the right. My sentiment ends up looking straight. And then the arrow goes on the slant facing, you know, actually slanted on the left. And I'm happy. There we go. Get out my ruler. And then I'm going to make sure both ends are even. Take a little bit of glue out that I had on there. And I'm going to leave it plain. White on white. Really pretty. Then I'll grab a strip of the navy blue and white. Yeah, see? Ooh, ooh, straight, sideways. Yes, yes, yes. Shaky, shaky. I even made, because I have such a nice bit of room with the gusset, I can round out that sentiment with the kiss, hug, and it doesn't make a difference. But I put this flat on the back. I just think it's clean, it's pretty, and when you get 4 of these cards in a box with the envelope, and you can leave your envelope white. I mean, it looks really classy to leave the envelope out, but I wanted to use the stencil right here with all my heart stencil. 3199. Of course, the links will be over on my blog. And yeah, I'm going to do it ombre, dark to light, and pretty well. If to put the name on it, I am going to brush letter. Well, if I was keeping this, because I'm giving it away, you can do, whoever gets this can do what they want with it. But I am going to put a clear big heart from the Stitched Heart set on top of this ombre flower heart design. So I go dark at the top and then light. And then, my friends, this is pretty well finished. Isn't that nice? And you can go and add, you know, I'll add a few here, a few there. Then I was looking at it and I thought, you know, that really looks busy to me because I covered so much of it up, even though I was going to put a heart. Then I thought, you know what? I have that doily on the inside of my card. So to write the name on it, I thought I'd put a doily. I would just shape the doily from one side of it coming in and yeah, put some of that beautiful Xyron tape. I love this Xyron tape. And we'll put it on the side there, right like that. And because it wasn't straight again, you know, I couldn't cut it so it was you couldn't see any of the line of the envelope. I added a strip of gold to the side. And I think it's matchy-matchy to the card perfectly. Oh, I had a little piece left over there. Isn't that nice? You don't, yeah, I didn't want the flat gold on there. I wanted some sparkle. There's that, it's for the inside of your cupboard drawers. You know, your drawers, and it has the peel on it already. It has the beautiful glitter. Oh, I love this glitter. And it's from the dollar store where nothing's a dollar. So I put that down, took off the backing, put it down the side, and we're finished, my friends. That's it. Thank you very much to Angie Hunt. Thank you to the design team members. There you have my project of 1 out of 4. I will see you later. And I hope you will enjoy the pictures. Subscribe if you like my channel, and press the bell if you want to be notified. And there you have the front. Have yourself a blessed week, and I'll see you on the next project. Take care, everybody.